name is Alexis Benitez, and this is my speech, My Anxious Life. I'm a 24-year-old nursing student from Wisconsin and just started nursing school, despite having severe anxiety. The episode started innocent enough with an ear infection that caused dizziness for a couple weeks that kept me out of work for 6 weeks. After I was allowed to go back to work, I started to notice the worry and the dizziness did not go away. I work in a hospital on a very demanding unit, and being sick and hesitant at work is not an option. After the first few weeks back at work, I knew I had to make some changes in order to be able to continue with my job and start nursing school in a few short months. I started my job at a hospital where I live when I turned 20, and it has always been the center of my attention. I worked full-time, sometimes only having 1 or 2 days off in a 14-day stretch. And I loved every second of it. I love the fast-paced atmosphere of working on a general medical floor. I got to experience a lot of different people and diagnoses that I never would have seen in a nursing home setting. I lived and breathed my job and went home every night excited about the next day. I knew that without a doubt in my mind that being a nurse was what I wanted to do with my life. From a very young age, there was only 3 things I was completely sure about. I was always dedicated to whatever job I held, usually in some sort of healthcare setting. I was a complete worrywart about everything, and I was going to be a nurse someday. Although I knew I worried about things a little more than most people, it never affected my day-to-day life, and I could usually brush it off and move on from the next thought. I was often called the mother hen because of my worrying attitude and was okay with that, but little did I know that that brush-off attitude would send me down a black hole of anxiety. When I was very young, I didn't know what I wanted to be when I grew up, but I did know I wanted to help people. It didn't become abundantly clear what I wanted to do until a teacher my freshman year of high school told me that I couldn't make it in the medical field. I had been pondering becoming a nurse for a while, but knew after that I had to prove to myself that I could do it. And I just so happened to fall in love with nursing. After that, I threw myself into being in the medical field. As soon as I was able, I took the certified nursing class my high school offered and did pretty well. I received my CNA when I was 17, and 4 months later, landed a job in a nursing home. My senior year of high school, I worked part-time at that nursing home and loved it, but I knew I wanted something bigger. After high school, I took classes at the local community college and started a new job in the memory care unit. Although I did love that job and my residence, I was still looking for something else. When I interviewed at my current hospital, I thought it was a long shot and didn't get my hopes up too high. But 4 years later, I'm extremely grateful for both of my other jobs that brought me here. And although I'm extremely happy in my position, mentally I was struggling and didn't know where I would go from here. I had just gotten into nursing school and was looking forward to a new start when the spells started. They started last year after being at my job for 3 years. They started off as being dizzy caused by a middle ear infection that would eventually go away in up to 6 weeks. I was unable to work at this time because of the extreme dizziness not being safe for my patients. Although I was upset I couldn't work, I knew the problems would eventually go away and I would go back to my regular routine. I was wrong. After many tests just to make sure it was only the ear infection that was causing my dizziness, I was cleared to go back to work, but I didn't feel the same excitement that I felt only a few months ago. I was nervous about everything and dreaded even the thought of going to work or even the store. I was always thinking about maybe getting another dizzy spell and what would happen if that occurred. It drained all the fun and excitement that I once held for work. I went back to the doctor many times because of the dizziness was just not getting better. I was also worrying about it. After many, many more tests to figure out what was wrong, the doctors came to a conclusion that my ear infection had caused the dizzy spells, but my underlying anxiety had fused together with it and prolonged the dizzy spells even more. After figuring out what caused the spells and problems and getting work under control, I know there was still one more hurdle to jump: nursing school. Nursing school has always been my goal, next to actually being a nurse. When I finally got in, I was extremely relieved and excited, but not only 2 months later, I started with the spells. and I knew this would affect possibly starting nursing school in a few months. Just being aware of this possibility of affecting my end goal kicked my butt into gear to make sure my anxiety does not affect school or work life. I pushed myself to get better and feel better in order to get to where I am today. I jumped through many hurdles and hoops to get to where I am today, where I'm confident in my work and my schooling. I still have to deal with my anxiety every day and most of the day, but every day that I accomplish something and move on to the next day is a win. And I know that one day all the struggles I went through that led me here will make me a better and stronger nurse who can care for people who went through the same things I did. Thank you.